Welcome back to our next video, that is public expenditure. So public means the government expenditure. So government has to incur the expenditure on various things. For example, social welfare of the people, or we can say government hospitals, government schools are there, road construction, dams construction. So government has to incur the expenditure on all these things, and the public authorities which has to incur the expenditure are just like central government, state governments, or local bodies are there, those who have to incur the expenditure on the various things. So further we can see there is a classification of public expenditure. The first one is public expenditure, revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, developmental expenditure, and non-development expenditure. So revenue expenditure means the expenditure which is incurred by the government. Okay, for example, salaries of the people, employees के salaries देना, medical facilities which are given to the employees, or we can say transportation facilities are given to the employees, or transportation facilities other than that, meals are there, daily meals. So whichever day-to-day functions are there, all those functions are managed by the government, and for that government has to do the expenditure. So such type of expenditure is known as the revenue expenditure. Next is capital expenditure. So the word capital itself says investment. So government does the huge investments in the different projects. Okay, different projects में expenditures are done by the government. So such type of expenditure is known as the capital expenditure. नेक्स्ट इज डेवलपमेंटल एक्सपेंडिचर. डेवलपमेंटल का मीनिंग है कि कंट्री के डेवलपमेंट होने के लिए विच एवर एक्सपेंडिचर इज डन, दैट सच टाइप ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर कैन बी कॉल्ड एज द डेवलपमेंटल एक्सपेंडिचर. जस्ट टेक एन एग्जाम्पल, expenditure on the health facilities. So government every time tries to bring new technologies in our country for in the health system and all of our country, so that people will start getting the health facilities in the better way. Even if you see in the educational field also, government tries to bring the new policies for the students so that they can get the better and best education in the future. So the expenditure which is done on such type of things which will lead the country towards the development, so such type of expenditure can be called as the developmental expenditure. The next one is non-developmental expenditure. So non-developmental का meaning ये होगा कि which will not produce anything. So one thing you just keep in your mind, डेवलपमेंटल का मीनिंग है जो प्रोडक्टिव है नेचर में. मतलब जब गवर्नमेंट, व्हेन द गवर्नमेंट विल डू द एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन एनी ऑफ द थिंग्स, दैट थिंग विल गिव द आउटपुट टू द गवर्नमेंट, मीन्स दैट थिंग विल डू द प्रोडक्शन, या फिर वो इनकम जनरेट करेगा. एंड नॉन डेवलपमेंटल का मीनिंग है कि विच इज़ नॉन प्रोडक्टिव इन नेचर, मीन्स विच इज़ नॉट प्रोडक्टिव इन द नेचर, जो अनप्रोडक्टिव है नेचर में, जो कुछ प्रोड्यूस नहीं करेगा आगे जाके. सच टाइप ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर इज नोन एज द नॉन डेवलपमेंटल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सोल्जर्स आर देर ऑफ आवर कंट्री, दोज हु फाइट एट द बॉर्डर. फॉर देम व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट डज, गवर्नमेंट हैज़ टू प्रोवाइड देम द various equipments to fight in the war. So when the equipments are provided, all those equipments are used by the soldiers. So will those equipments be returned back to the soldiers? No. So it is once used, that is used, it will not give the production. So such type of examples will be under non-developmental expenditure. बट इन द केस ऑफ डेवलपमेंटल, इफ़ यू सी, अगर बेटर एजुकेशन दिया स्टूडेंट्स को, तो ऑब्वियसली द स्टूडेंट्स विल गिव द बेटर फ्यूचर टू आवर कंट्री. सो दैट विल कम अंडर डेवलपमेंटल, क्योंकि वो आगे जाके कुछ तो उसका प्रोडक्शन हमें मिलने ही वाला है. सो दीज आर द क्लासिफिकेशंस ऑफ द पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर.